All right, guys, good morning. This is going to be a very fun week. I do actually suspect, and I'll be okay if I'm wrong about this, but there's a lot of data that we're going to go over tomorrow in the membership. I do suspect this week to be very bullish, actually. I don't expect prices to fall back down to 92 and 91,000. I actually do expect us to stay bullish. So here's what I want to go over in this video. Give you guys an idea of where we're at, if we're neutral, bearish, or bullish. What are the levels we need to pass in order to move into these different categories. And then I want to show you guys a chart that Crypto Rover, he's a great guy I follow on X, you guys can follow him, basically showed why, if this is the top of cryptocurrency, this is his words, he said, whales are screwed. And he's actually right. So we're going to get into this week, actually Tuesday, tomorrow morning, in the future forecast we do with all of our members. I think I'm going to label it, the best is yet to come. I was just in some prayer time before I got on this video, and I've been praying to the Lord a lot, like what do you want to share with people? And I really just felt like I heard these words, share with them, the best is yet to come, especially for altcoins, because I know a lot of people have been like, this doesn't mean anything, right? Like all this green stuff over here below my head here, this doesn't mean much because all of the altcoins have dropped 50 to 60%. Like XLM, I think, is down close to, it's like 50% from the high. Excuse me, that's XRP, 50% from the high for XLM. Is it ever going to reverse back up? So I want to actually give you guys some very strong evidence of why this decoupling has actually happened before in past cycles for altcoins, and why I don't think we should give up hope for altcoins. And in fact, this sentiment of we're never going to get an alt season, this is exactly what people were posting on YouTube and on, Twitter back in 2020, going into 21 in January and February, because no one thought the market was going to head back up. So let's get into this, okay? Here's what I'm looking for. Everybody, I think, needs to understand equilibrium in the market. So equilibrium is found when you have a very strong support, because when support is broken, technical analysis investors are going to say they're going to shift more bearish than bullish, because when you break a support that's broken by price action, what does it then become? It becomes resistance, okay? So right now, the equilibrium point for Bitcoin is at 92,000 down to 91,000. It's this green zone. As long as we are staying above this, we are technically in a bullish formation. The moment we go down below this, we are bearish. So I showed this a little bit to our members, but I want to explain to you guys how I look at this market. If you just take a rectangle around consolidation, okay? If you're in consolidation, there's three outcomes here. You're either bullish, you're bearish, or you're neutral. If you're in consolidation, neutral must be part of this assessment, okay? Secondly, where are you as far as breaking trend lines and formations in the market? We are currently making lower highs and lower lows, as we can see based off this formation that we've got right about here, okay? So high, low, lower high, lower low. And I don't know if we're going to get this super quick, but I think we're going to get something maybe like this and start heading back up here. So where are we at as far as this point? Well, what I like to do is I pretty much like to take a middle line, draw in the middle here, and say, are we more bearish or bullish? So right now, undisputably, guys, the market is neutral to bearish. Now, what would cause a market to be bullish? Break of structure, just like we saw here. So when Bitcoin moves above $103,000 to $104,000, we are going to be breaking this descending resistance, and we can categorize cryptocurrency as neutral to bullish. Okay, why am I taking so much time to explain this? Because when you guys develop your risk management strategies, you need to understand what stage the market is in. The market right now, guys, doesn't necessarily for Bitcoin tell you should be selling or buying. It's a neutral state. Many times, the best places to buy back into Bitcoin is when we get a bullish signal and the price of Bitcoin comes above the descending resistance line, because we then at least shift from neutral to neutral bullish, or right now we are neutral bearish. The moment that Bitcoin breaks out above resistance, it then becomes support. What can we shift the market to? We can then say Bitcoin is bullish, and we can remove the neutral, because the neutrality of it is actually within the consolidation zone. Okay, so at the moment, Bitcoin is in a neutral to bearish sentiment. Okay, take a look at this real quick, and we're going to expound a lot on this tomorrow, but I wanted to show you guys this post here, because I thought this was quite interesting when I was looking over this. Let me go to my bookmarks here. So take a look at this. I know my face is covering this. I apologize. This is what Crypto Rover says. If this were to be the Bitcoin top, whales would be screwed, but whales always win. Send it higher. And what we're looking at here is the total balance and balance change of large holders, 1K to 10K balances. Okay, and this is for Bitcoin. This is not uncommon. You can look at this as the long-term holder ratio. Many different metrics show that when the top is in, whales are de-risking. Okay, they are de-risking by dollar cost averaging out of the market as the market appreciates. We are just getting a higher low formation. Now, if we see this metric here start dropping very fast, then yes, I could say there's a case that the top could be in. But look at this, guys. We drop so fast when the top is approaching that it's like we know the top is coming. We are de-risking in the market. We're getting the heck out of here. We do not see that. Okay, this is one of many charts I want to just present tomorrow to all of you guys. There's a link in the description to our membership. You get 25% off. I think you guys are going to love this. We're going to talk about how do we actually take our portfolios here. Let me refresh this so we can get an updated amount. How do we take our portfolios, structure them in a way where we can make the most money in the next 6 months? Okay, I'm going to go into a whiteboard session here. If that's okay, guys, I'm going to go a little bit longer here. I want to explain this to you guys. So if you guys are new to cryptocurrency, you need to understand how money is rotating and how money flows. Because I know people are thinking this time, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm part of this crew because I have data that actually supports this. They're saying that Bitcoin's going to take off, and we are not going to get an alt season. Okay, no alt season. Yes, there is evidence to prove that an alt season could be delayed, but we have not seen evidence yet that says we can completely usher off an alt season and say it's never going to happen. In fact, we've got metrics I'll show you guys tomorrow that say that alt season is at its low here, and we are getting ready to see one of the greatest blast-offs we have ever seen in the alt season because of how low we are based off an ascending support line, which usually triggers an alt season move back up. And a lot of this is by total 2, total 3, and others.d. I'll explain that tomorrow, okay? So the question then becomes, all right, if I'm a retail trader and I'm watching this crazy guy called Travis on Trade Confident here on YouTube, he's telling me to come into a membership, what's going to benefit you guys, okay? And this is what I want to talk about tomorrow. What's going to benefit the retail trader, I think, is to understand how money rotates and how yields are made in cryptocurrency, okay? Yields are made in 3 different ways: by being into Bitcoin, being into Ethereum. This is high level, guys. This is high level, okay? So all my OGs out there, you're like, there's more than this. Like, I get it. I'm trying to make this a little bit easier for people to understand, okay? Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins. What you need to understand is what is the return ratio on these typically in a cycle. Altcoins typically outperform Ethereum. Ethereum typically outperforms Bitcoin, okay? So if you're 100% into Bitcoin, I understand a strategic reserve can come, and you've actually been jumping from the rooftops lately saying, yeah, look, it was always worth being in Bitcoin. However, you are correct, and I'll give you, good job. Like, I'm not being rude. Like, genuinely, good job for staying in Bitcoin this long, because you actually had Bitcoin dominance drop. You stayed in Bitcoin, and you actually kept a decent amount of reserve of capital. We sold our Bitcoin and Ethereum to get into altcoins, and two of the altcoins we bought were XRP and Stellar at very low prices. If it wasn't for those going up, this would have been a terrible move, and I'm just going to admit that right now. But because we shoved the majority of our Bitcoin and Ethereum into ISO, and ISO ran really quickly in these last couple months, it was better for us to do that than not. Okay. What I want to show tomorrow is how stinking fast altcoins and Bitcoin dominance can drop. So Bitcoin dominance, BTC.D. Let me get this out of here, move my face out of the way. You guys ought to understand the previous cycle. This is going to be a longer YouTube video than I thought, but I just want to coach you guys here, and this is tip of the iceberg. We'll go into more tomorrow. Okay, BTC.D. Previous cycle, it was January. January, it tanked. Do you guys know what happened with Bitcoin dominance in the previous cycle before that in 2017? It wasn't in January. It was actually March. Bitcoin dominance tanked. But here's the thing. It comes down to, I'm not even joking, you guys, it is days. It's not like you're waiting this whole time and it's like, oh, money's slowly trickling into altcoins. I got some time to transition. No, it happened so fast. Do you remember what happened to XRP and XLM? How fast they ran up. And everyone's like, oh, I'm going to wait for the pullback. Yeah, you waited for a pullback and it went up 500% in like 8 days. Okay, that's what's coming, I believe, for altcoins, and what I want to show you guys tomorrow. And literally, I'm going to name it, the best is yet to come. Because if you guys are still in Bitcoin and you're not, at least I think, trying to front run a little bit of this by getting exposed to your altcoins, you're going to miss it. Because this drop in Bitcoin dominance, where money comes out of Bitcoin and goes into altcoins, it happens staggeringly fast, guys. It is so fast. So I want to prepare you guys for that. And then I want to show you guys where Bitcoin dominance has dropped in the past, and then what we expect to see Bitcoin do for the next 30 days based off an 11-year cycle and a 4-year cyclical cycle that matches up with the bull and the bear markets. That is the strongest data that we've got. And based off that, I bought another $10,000 of cryptocurrency this weekend. Okay. I know I'm giving you guys a lot, but what I'm doing on YouTube here is I'm just giving you guys the iceberg here. And I want to go deeper in the membership and share with you guys, what am I actually doing with my holdings? We've got holdings over here, Coinbase. This is where we keep all of our regular assets here. And I'll stop after this. But we keep the majority here. We do have a ledger, which I say is, I know the Lord spoke this to me, keep the treasure on the ledger. What's the treasure? And I heard in my spirit, X marks the spot. So I know this sounds silly to some of you, but I really do feel like the Lord has spoken to me to say, keep your XRP and XLM on a ledger, because these are your treasures and these could do very, very well in the coming years and by the end of the decade. So we kept it off of the exchange for risk purposes, okay? So tomorrow morning, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over another future forecast. In the link, this is on your phones, guys. This is on the computer here. There's a gift box emoji. Actually, it looks exactly like that probably. It's 25% off our membership. We only charge $65 a month. It is very, very low, okay? We actually had it up to $95 and we may be increasing it this year, but we dropped it down because the economy was rough and we really just wanted to keep giving people good value. So it's $65. We dropped it down to 25% off. Go ahead and snag that. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to go over the future forecast and explain to you guys the charts that say the best is yet to come. And this isn't me just trying to be hopeful for you guys. I've called this out to our members. This week is expected to be very bullish. So let's get our portfolios allocated correctly. Let's look at the historic charts to show us where we could be going, and let's look to see how close we are to scaling out our first 20 to 25% in this market. Because I'm telling you, if you don't have a risk management plan of scaling out in this market, you're going to be left with just emotion. And you're going to try to scale out while you're watching your account go up, and you're going to want to buy not one but two Lambos this cycle, not one but two houses this cycle. No, guys, this needs to be a time where you take emotions, put them on the back burner, and bring logistics to the front. And say, let's devise a risk management plan so we make it out with our shirts and we don't round trip this pump and this dump like some people did in the previous cycles and like I did in 2016 and 17, admittedly. Okay? So that's going to be tomorrow morning. Guys, I love you. Enjoy Jake's videos coming out. We have a lot more to this membership that Jake's going to show you guys on another YouTube video, but I just want to show you guys this. You will see me tomorrow, every Tuesday and Friday, coaching our members here of what I'm going to do with our portfolio to make the most money in this cycle. This is a pivotal week. I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless. Bye, guys.